Hey guys, make way for Justice here. This is my first time making a video for YouTube about AFK Arena, but I really wanted to start making videos and putting them out there. Everybody knows about, not everybody, but many people know about the difficulties of streaming on Twitch and finding time and allocating the appropriate effort and having sufficient content to stream. So this is another way to do what I want to do. And what that is I think there's a lot of great content creators, and I think that there's a lot of great people in the community that put out wonderful guides and other things. But what, at least I feel like, outside of Reddit, we don't have is discussion on YouTube that is relevant and gets out to more people. Having discussions about things like what makes the game good, what makes the game bad, what are some ideas that Lilith can put into the game that would cause players to stay, would retain more new players, would get more new players into the game, wouldn't push away people that felt like if they're a low spender or new to the game and they don't want to spend anything, they get all these pop-ups and stuff in the game, and all of a sudden they go, oh, okay, well, obviously this is just a cash grab and I don't want to stick around, even though the actual gameplay is awesome. And anybody that's played old games like Fire Emblem back on the Game Boy Advance or similar games to that, Advanced Wars, etc., the game has a lot of things that trigger those same endorphins in your brain, and it's fun. I mean, the visuals are great. The combat, at least visually, is stunning compared to a lot of other games. And so there are certain things about the way that the monetization is displayed that worries me in terms of retaining new players and getting people to come into the game and stick around. And so I think there's a lot of conversations that can happen outside of just, oh, engravings are too expensive or this is too expensive. Those are important conversations, but there's a lot of nuance that doesn't get discussed in the community, at least not in terms of, again, I'm saying this like it's a blanket term. A lot of people do have these discussions. I'm just saying on a large scale, there's not a whole lot of discussion. And so I'm hoping that this channel can eventually be that kind of avenue for ideas and changes to the game that would be positive and possibly in the future lead to changes in the game that are good for the long-term health of the game. And then eventually it'd be interesting to talk about things like AFK 2 or something similar to that, but I think we're a long way away from that being a possibility. And the idea of being a developer and having to justify AFK 2 when people have put so much into this version of the game, I mean, I don't want to be in their shoes, let's just put it that way. But at the end of this video, last couple of minutes, I just want to talk about, who I am, why do I think I'm even like the person to have this type of discussion or put out these types of videos, and where I came from, like what got me into AFK. So this is my main account. As you can see, 33 billion, probably guessed it, spent probably too much money on this game. My hero box is pretty well built. I have a lot of the fundamentals. I'm missing a few PvP niche heroes. I'm missing a few abyssal heroes in terms of like engravings and whatnot. I mean, I'm pretty maxed out in terms of furniture, in terms of building out the heroes to what makes them viable. I mean, pretty much everything I have is viable, except for if you come down here, I don't have Mazoth finished or Thoros. My Rigby is obviously level 1, so I haven't even put him in the crystal yet, and my crystal's pretty well built out. But, so my hero box is pretty good. Level 655 is relatively high. Definitely in the top percentage of people that play the game. This season, as you can see, my border, I'm in the guild Cloud. We did finish in top 5. And so we got this really kind of sick border. I mean, it's not overwhelmingly sick because it's very similar to the one that just came out in season 5, and they didn't even do a beta for this last one. But regardless, been playing the game for a long time. I forget exactly how to look up how many days I've played. So 784. So what is that? 2 years and 3 months or so. So I've been around for a while. I definitely could clear chapter 42, so don't get me wrong, but I'm at the point in the game very similar to a lot of other content creators and people that I would rather take it slow. The campaign does not make me very excited to do. Now, if I stream more, maybe I would push more, but the way the game is set up right now, yeah. We don't need to talk about that too much. Towers, I'm pretty well pushed out. I could definitely put another... I could probably be 8. I actually don't know. These could all be pushed a little bit more. Let's just say that. I just did King's Tower the other day, and I progressed like 50 stages. It's amazing what money can do. Arena of Heroes, I'm pretty consistently at the top. Way stronger than this person. I actually just passed them in terms of player power not too long ago. So you can see that. Arena of Heroes, yeah, it's not close there. What else is there? My tree juice is pretty well built out. Yeah, so I don't need to show really much else, but I wanted you guys to see where my main account is. And then if I switch over to here, I do have a free-to-play account. Now, I did lose my badge because I bought a 99-cent pack on accident because I thought I was on my main. And that was after the change to the free-to-play where they gave you another badge. So that's pretty feels bad. So I don't have a badge here. This is another account, though, that... I guess the sound turns off when you switch. But this is another account that I could be pushed way further. But this account I actually like to pull stuff. So as you can see in here, I like to stack up my resources. Get max stones, pop those. Because I don't really feel inclined to push very hard on this account, especially since I have another account. But this is my free-to-play account, which I think is a big thing. At least when I stream, everybody says, you know, if you have a free-to-play account and a main account and you actually do most of the content on both, it shows that you really do love the game. So I think it's important to show you guys that I do love the game. I could not spend a dime and still have a blast. And then, of course, I'm one of those people that created a third account just for the vow. And I should have done that a lot sooner. Didn't really think about it. And I also am pretty exhausted with 3 accounts. I've done it before where I've had 4 or 5. And it's just not worth it. Not to hate on the people that do. AKA somebody like Hippo. I mean, kudos to him for being able to have fucking faction accounts. I've thought about doing that, and knowing how much time goes into it and how much content they put into the game now, I don't think that's something that I would ever want to do. But yeah, let's end this video with my first thing that I would want to discuss if I keep this channel going. And the first thing that I would want to discuss in terms of how to get players to stick around, very, very general. Everybody's talked about this 100 times, but it's the pop-ups. So back in the day, like 2 years ago, the pop-ups, I'm talking about for the deals when you make progress in the game, they don't need to be, hey, buy this, it's on sale, wow, 9,000%. Okay, it could be dialed down. It could be, hey, this is 9,000% off. Go ahead and buy it if you want to. It should not pop up on the screen and take over whatever you're doing and freak the crap out of you. It should be, okay, say I finish 5 levels of King's Tower and I go back to this page. There should be a larger exclamation point on this side where that is to get my attention, and that side of the screen. It does not need to pop up on the entire screen. And I guarantee that players that spend and buy those packs would still buy those packs. I guarantee it. And guess what? New players are not going to get offended as much by that. But the fact that every single individual thing that you do, whether it's a Temple or Rift progression, King's Tower progression, Arena Heroes, maybe there's some in there, but Voyage of Wonders, Peaks of Time, when you progress in the campaign, when you reach certain milestones on Resonating Crystal, when you reach certain milestones with Ascending Heroes, when you reach certain milestones of, you know, there are so many ways to get that pop-up, and it is obnoxious how big it is. And it is something that does, and I've had friends that quit the game because of those pop-ups. So it's not like it's this, oh, it's just an inconvenience and you just have to click off of it. No, this is a legitimate thing that pushes people away from the game, and the fact that it hasn't been addressed and hasn't been reduced is literally and obviously because whales just buy them anyway. They don't like the pop-ups, but it doesn't bother them, and they just buy them. So the revenue for Lilith, they're like, well, it's really not that big of a deal. But in terms of the overall community and health of the game, that is something that should absolutely be changed, and it doesn't need to change to take away from the revenue that they're getting from those pop-ups. They can still do it in a way that's less obnoxious, that gets people that would buy them anyway to buy them. I'm sure they've had studies where it's like, oh, well, if we tell you 14 times that this is 9,000% extra, eventually in your brain you're going to be like, oh, this is totally worth buying. Like, maybe that's what they're banking on, but in terms of new players and retaining new players, I think that is one of the main things that just like pushes people immediately away, because they go, oh, it's just a standard gacha. There's nothing interesting about this. They just want me to spend money. And they already cover that in the merchants, because when you log in your first time on a new account, you have all these different bundles that you can buy, and they advertise those too. So it's just way overboard, and the game is good enough on its own merits to where that does not need to be something that's quite so obnoxious. So that's like one of the first things that I would like to kind of get people's opinions on and discuss, and make sure that even people that are new and that don't spend on the game, they know that the people at the top also think that that's absolutely obnoxious and should change. It's not like the whales don't just go along with it and think, oh, it's fine, it's like not that big of a deal. No, it's an absolutely big deal, and it kills the community aspect of it. And if anybody has played MMOs in this crowd, you know the community is gigantically part of what keeps games going and what keeps people interested in the game. So that's the first thing that I would say, is the amount of pop-ups from specifically those 9,000% deals or whatever the hell they are. That should be adjusted and changed in the game. It should not be terrifying people and popping up and taking up the whole screen. But anyway, all I want to talk about today was introducing you guys to me, my account, what I want to do with the channel in the future, and talk a little bit about one of the types of things that I don't think get enough discussion outside of Reddit or those avenues where people, of course, are already having these conversations, but I think it's interesting to add this to the content that's already out there. But thank you guys. If anybody clicks on this link and finds me on YouTube, Make Way for Justice, I'll try to keep pumping out the content about stuff like this, and if it takes off, it takes off, and if it doesn't, it's all good. I'll still play the game. Love it. Thanks, guys. Have a safe day. Bye.